Hey everybody, Tim here with tonight's episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 5, Episode 15, Power Play. So this is a good episode. It's a really interesting episode. So Troi, Data, O'Brien, and Riker all go down to a planet where there's a lot of electrical storms going on. And then on their way back up, they're shot with lightning. Which is interesting because at that point, Riker breaks his arm. When I guess I was reading about it, in reality, Troi, the actress that plays her, actually broke her tailbone in the scene because she did her own stunts. And she was the only one, which it's a little sad because it's a faraway shot, so you can't really even tell it's her. And so it's kind of interesting. And so when they're beamed back aboard, Troi, Data, and O'Brien have been inhabited. They've been basically taken hostage by a life form, which I think it's interesting that Data was. And so now these three are trying to take over the Enterprise. Now, they go to 10 forward and they take over that, which is a little sad because Worf is in there, who has an interesting relationship with Data, because Data is like the only person on board that's stronger than Worf. And Keiko with the newborn Molly is in 10 forward. And so at first she's like, Miles, what are you doing? And then she realizes that it's not really him. And so she kind of backs off. But then because of the person that's inhabiting his body, he kind of knows that there's something going on there. It's a really interesting scene. So Picard talks to Troi, and she says that she is a he. He's actually the captain of a Daedalus class starship, the Essex, that was lost 200 years ago. So this is the first mention of a Daedalus class starship, and it's pretty much the only time we hear the name Daedalus a few times, but this is the only mention of a Daedalus class. And that it was lost 200 years ago, which I think that's interesting because that would put it right about the time of Enterprise, the TV show Enterprise. So I don't know, stuff like that sticks out to me. I like it. By the time we get to the end of the episode, it turns out that the Daedalus had also been taken hostage, and it turns out that these spirits were actually from 500 years ago in a penal colony. So from there, the episode just kind of goes through its normal routine. Geordi and Ensign Rowlin try to hurt them, which makes them come out of the body, and all sorts of stuff goes on. So they get them to the shuttle bay transporter, and they get them out. But overall, the acting ability is what makes this episode so good. The story is interesting. Don't get me wrong. It is an interesting story. But the acting is what is so good, where you see Troi become this captain, this leader. You see Data, who I've said it in several of my past videos, Brett Spiner is such a good actor, that he goes from Data to this evil villainous role. And then, like I've said, from the first episode of Encounter at Farpoint, where we first see Miles, to like becoming a regular, becoming Chief O'Brien, to the transporter, like he becomes such a main character, and this episode just takes it that much step further where we see his acting ability, Colin Meaney's, and it's such a good episode just for the acting ability, because all three of these do such a good job. For those who have seen this one, what did you guys think? What do you guys think of these three particular actors? Go ahead, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for everything. I will see you guys next time for the great episode Ethics.